were just talking about
can switch
Betamax
out
and Blu-ray and
to
VHS tapes and stuff.
Exciting stuff.
to the intermission,
Right.
the smoke breaks. You know, smoke breaks. You switch
Old
out
tech
for,
Waffle.
and smoking.
Betamax, VHS, and Blu-ray. I mean, isn't
You
there
don't know
kind of like
Betamax.
one of these is not like the
I've
other?
never even seen a Betamax
Yeah.
in my life. Never
Right?
once.
Yeah.
Is that a fair thing to say?
What did it
They
look
even
like
had
again? It looked like a
HD
big tape.
VHS
A
as
big
well.
VHS? Yeah, of course VHS.
No
Just
way.
called
Did it
VHS
look like
tapes.
a VHS at all?
What
No
the
way.
frick?
Really?
No, it didn't.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh? Who's...
So there's a channel that I highly recommend if you're into all of this stuff, right? Technology Connections.
Yeah,
great
I like to
channel.
learn about everything, basically. It's right here.
There's another one too. I can't remember the name right now, but a guy talks about all of the old retro. No, I can't remember. He talks
I'm
about
not
all the
gonna
retro
know.
stuff. It's really good. Highly recommend. I'll
Remember
try
that-
and find the name
remember
of that
whole
channel.
HD DVD versus Blu-ray. I mean,
Oh,
I remember
boy.
that one at least.
yeah.
I remember
Yeah,
that one.
well, Xbox 360,
DVD.
they had a drive
Yeah.
for it, didn't they? A whole separate drive,
Yeah.
and then it just
Yeah,
didn't
they're like,
go anywhere. And then they were like, "Oh no, we've got this bloody drive
they
and
zoomed it
20
again.
movies."
They zoomed it. They zoomed it.
Yes, good old Microsoft.
It's a verb. You zoomed Microsoft.
He
you
zoomed it. Yeah.
Sorry.
Nice.
No,
What does
I
that
haven't
mean
heard
that
that
they
before.
just got
Anybody
rid
have
of
a
it and
Just
Microsoft
get-
service?
Yeah, like Nokia,
service?
right? When they
That's
bought
not
Nokia,
Zoom.
Nokia
they
did,
zoomed
right.
it. They zoomed the
They zoomed
Nokia.
the Nokia. Right.
Yeah.
Well, the iPod came out
Oh,
right
that's
at the
hilarious.
same time, right?
We should do that. We should totally make a completely
yes.
defunct piece of technology popular just because we use it as a term to describe how Microsoft fucks
I
everything.
mean, I got
Zoomed,
multiple
yeah,
Windows
yeah,
computers,
it is a pretty common
multiple Windows computers,
thing.
multiple
Is
Macs,
it?
and I
Is
tell
it?
you,
Meek
the
Yeah.
Mac OS is still
999
so
has
much
joined the
Steffi
space.
made that up.
easier, so much easier on your mental health. Mac OS.
What's that?
It might be not
Mac OS?
best OS. Yes, Mac OS better
Wow.
on your mental health than Windows. I have multiple Windows machines that are driving me nuts. They are driving me up the wall, and Macs are just sitting there going they're all good. Yep, no problems.
I find
They're all
Macs work
fine all the
great
time.
because generally
They're all
people
fine
who
all the
buy them
time.
tend
Like,
not to use
like,
them.
what?
They just tend to leave
why
them
are
in
they
the
all fine
corner.
all the time, and these
Secret
computers all
society
of
of
the same
Has
people
joined
buy
the
iPads.
space.
Some ram things.
and maybe use them as
How many
Apple,
KB
they
airs
have
do
you
I
by
need
the
in my life?
shackles.
How many
They're-
more
they're
KB
there.
airs do I need?
Apple
How
are
many more
there, grabbing your
KBs? How many more
ankles.
KB
They're there
airs?
saying, "This is the only way you do things," and it's
Okay, we're not
curated in
gonna
a
get
really
Apple
weird.
versus Microsoft here. I have all
Okay.
of it, so I like both.
We can
I'm
do
just
it.
saying.
We could do it.
The
We could do a quick
headaches,
10-minute
the headaches I get from
Apple.
one or the other. I don't know.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Apple,
I
actually, I
literally
wanted
just
to.
I spent a lot of money on a PC and it's broke. No, it's not broke.
Do you
I
not
just- I
find
just
though
messed
that
around
people
with
that buy Apple products are like, it's like us and them, isn't it?
Yes.
No, I
Yeah,
just- I like
yeah.
Android.
It's a
But
It's
we
like
could-
us
we
that
could
drive
be-
to the
Android.
wall.
No.
We
It's a
could
cult.
be the other
You
side of
never
that
get-
argument a little
I have
bit.
Linux
Yes.
It
installed
could be
on a desktop,
them and us.
on a partition.
kinda.
I mean,
Mm.
They're like, why don't they understand us? Why don't they believe in what we believe? Look, it's so obvious.
Yeah.
Look, that you've got all of
Yeah,
this
as soon as someone
ecosystem, and it
brings up
just
Mac,
seamlessly
oh,
works together.
he's
You
all-
know,
More
why
like,
don't you
we
want this
just want
guy?
their
Get 'em.
best.
You have to wear a Hawaiian shirt.
We just want to save them
You
from
might-
doing
oh,
stupid decisions.
It's like,
You might want to turn your
Yes.
mic boost down there,
what's the
Ellie, just a
decisions?
tad.
Buying Apple
Yeah.
Good,
products.
please.
Like
I mean,
like
they
a
may be
curfew is
limited.
in effect.
That's for
What's
sure.
that movie?
They are limited.
The
They give me
Purge.
headaches.
iRobot?
Yeah, Purge.
They're saving the
Yeah.
computers
They
are
do what
saving
they
us
do,
from
and that's
ourselves.
it.
That's
You
what
put 'em
that's
down.
what Apple might eventually evolve into is a massive AI that will just murder us all.
I guess
in
you
order
guys
to
have
Maybe
better luck.
this is
from
best for
ourselves.
humanity. I am
Windows.
Apple
Yes.
bot.
Here's
Like
the new
Robocop.
Apple Mac, and it's just
Yeah.
a ball. It's just
It's-
a silver ball. No buttons, interfaces, no screens, no nothing.
Honestly,
Because it doesn't require a
the
human
Windows
anymore.
11's
Apple
junk.
have
I thought it
solved
was going to
it.
be good. I'm
Kapow.
like, this is the new
No
Vista.
ports.
This is the new Vista. I'm going back
Yeah.
to 10.
The new Apple AI will be
The
the
11
robot
is
from
the new
RoboCop.
Vista.
88,
'Cause even though it's not
8209,
as bad
whatever
as
it is.
Vista,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, the
it's
big
still
one?
bad. enough
Yeah.
to be
Hello, I am Apple.
talked
Jug, jug,
about.
jug, jug with these big, massive guns on the side. This is for your well-being. You're like, what?
So do you like pixel
That's
art
what
on Wii
AI's
Waffles?
decided.
Or do you want On where? Where?
Right
Where?
here.
Where?
You just bumped into it.
Yeah.
Oh, what? This
So,
is
yeah, you-
sick. It's the first time.
I've not had a chance to give it a go until
It's pretty clear.
when was
The
it?
pass-through's way
Yesterday?
better,
This-
right?
day
Oh,
before, I
yeah,
think, or
that's
something.
Day
better
before?
now.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done. At least I
And you've
could
had
try
it
to
for an extra 2
RP
days
again.
over me.
Yes, I haven't really used it all
Yeah.
that much yet, though. I probably used it for roughly about the same amount of time that you did.
Yeah.
So, what's the
I had about an
impressions, first
hour
impressions?
overall, I think.
First impressions. I actually was more impressed with it than I thought I was going to be. That is probably
good.
about as good as
okay.
I can put it.
Mhm.
But it's
Okay.
still way too overpriced. I
Mm.
mean,
It's like a Quest
realistically,
3, but on steroids, but like price-wise.
feels like-
price-wise.
it feels like there's
Steroids.
different things between the two of them that are trade-offs, and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
feels like there shouldn't
Gaming,
be as
yeah.
many trade-offs with a device
Yeah,
like
there's-
that. But
Well, because it's just an
my-
iPhone basically on your face, right? Kind of.
well, it shouldn't be.
iPad in your
Yeah.
face.
That's kind of my
Kind of an
biggest
iPad in
gripe
your
with
face.
it, right? It's
Yeah.
not even,
iPad
right?
in the
So
face. Well, iPads
it's
are already in the
using-
face. So
It's-
I
it's
guess
less
they're-
than
they're
that,
halfway
yeah.
there.
it's
Yeah,
using the
they're like,
same
oh, well, they're already
capability as a
putting them in their
MacBook
face,
Pro.
so I guess we put an iPad in
Right?
there. Right.
It's got an M2 chip. It's got 16 gigs of RAM.
Mhm.
That's a MacBook
good
Pro
chip.
on your face. That's not an
Decent chip.
iPhone. That's a MacBook Pro.
Yeah,
But-
That's
right,
true. That
yeah.
is better.
The
Well,
software
I mean, Macs have
limits
have
it
M2s now
to
too,
an
though.
iPad.
I mean, sorry,
Somebody
iPads have
actually said
M2s
it.
now too. That's what I meant.
Somebody
Free
said it,
iPads.
actually. Yeah, no, it's like having 5 iPads. That's what it is. If you
Five
buy one right
iPads
now, it's
floating
like
around.
having 5 iPads, and it costs about the same.
Ah, yeah.
They're just
Wow.
there on arms that you can grab, and you can
Yes.
just happen to look at them. You can pinch
So
them,
that's how they
and they're just
justify
there.
the price.
iPads.
So like, well,
That's-
you're
that's-
getting
that's
5
the,
of them.
That's
so,
the Apple
Yes.
Vision is
It's like,
You can have
okay,
5
well,
But-
buying 5
iPad apps open at
iPads.
once.
Mhm.
How else
Yeah.
could you do
Wow.
that
But
other than with
The
5
the screens are
iPads?
really good. I cannot stress this enough. They
justification.
are mind-blowingly good. Okay, it is.
Whoa.
If
Yes.
every headset has this screen, Jesus Christ! Oh my
and
God!
then you turn it off
Yeah.
and you come back and the screens are exactly in the same space in the room.
Not
Like,
quite.
put them-
Everything's.
But I
Place
get that that's the way
everything's-
it's supposed to be.
Where
does-
Yeah,
it does
everything
reset.
seems seamless.
Ah, that's
from what I'm
awesome.
aware.
That part is probably one of the best things, right? Just like making a space and then not having to make it again. Sorry.
Well, what about this, right? So I got my
Um,
Apple Vision Pro to scan Bob's face. So now the persona that's on it is Bob, but I own it.
Nice.
Yeah, but
So
they
I
look
own his
weird, right?
persona. So
Yes,
anytime
Oh,
I'm
it's so
using it,
weird.
anytime I'm going to be on it, I'm going to
It's-
look like Bob. And it's going to be strange because it's going to be trying to
But how-
superimpose and
so
line up my
How does
face
it
with
take
his
your
face.
face
So it's
exactly?
going
It
to
takes
look.
your
Oh
eyeballs
my
right from
God.
inside. I
You-
don't know. If it takes your.
You
it's
scan it
crazy.
from the front just to scan your
Yeah,
face,
you
and then you
take it
stick
off
your
and
head.
turn it around.
Yeah, and it says
Aha.
Yeah,
turn
yeah,
to
yeah.
the right, and it goes boop boop boop
Pirate
boop boop,
Yo-Ho
and then
Ho
it goes
has
So,
turn
joined
to
us.
the
so
left.
you could wear a
boop,
mask
boop,
then.
boop, boop, boop,
So
and
you
then
could wear a
it-
mask, and then you could have a mask
maybe.
face.
I don't know.
So you could
maybe.
be an alien.
Who knows?
Shane, you could be an alien.
I could
It
be
might
an alien.
detect that
Like
it's
in-
not
in
quite
Apple
Yes,
Pro
um,
VR.
a standardized
Yeah.
human face, so it might go.
Yeah, I would
That's
say,
true.
oh, this is not a
Please
human
try
before."
again, potentially.
Yeah, I know.
I
Well, you could
think
do it
so
with makeup.
because
You could probably trick it with makeup a bit.
their persona
true.
stuff is
That's true, you could see how far we could
modeled
go with
modeled to
makeup.
humanoids.
Yeah, I
Just
want
keep
to see that
incrementing,
too.
adding more
That's
and
gonna be
more
the next
until you
YouTube
look like
channel,
something
so-
out of.
Nah, it's already been done. Someone's already doing it, so whatever.
Do some fun stuff
Everything's
with
already
that.
been done. No, I'm joking. That's
Like
what I
the way
always
people
think.
do with driver's licenses.
Everything's already fucking.
Yeah, yeah. But more real time.
So-
It would be
So
interesting
y-
to test the limits. My guess is that Apple will try to protect you from yourself and won't allow you to be
Yeah.
anything but your true self, though, except for
Ah,
Apple
yeah.
They are very like
By
that.
law.
Yeah, true.
and Bob by law.
And they're probably gonna look at it by human too. They're probably have humans that look at the photos too. Even not even just humans yet. Not even just
That's
AI
true.
yet. Not
That's
even
right, they probably
just humans.
They probably share them amongst all their buddies, and there's these seedy little fucking underground groups where they're sharing
Black
these
market, yeah.
pictures of our
Pro X
personas.
side has
Yeah,
joined
oh,
the
they're looking
stage.
at
Yeah,
them.
that's for sure.
All right, I'll
But
go
once it's
through
shot-
my I don't know, my top likes and dislikes, and then maybe get some questions, and then Shane go for it. I don't know. How's that for
Okay.
a plan? Yeah.
Sounds good.
Well, all right then. Here we go. Right, I jump in. Amazing, mind blowing. The screen's amazing. What was funny at first was the eye tracking wasn't quite calibrated, but that's because you need to calibrate it. But once that was done, perfect. You just look at stuff, pinch, crazy. You can just put your hand down there, just look at stuff, and then seamlessly grab it, and it's super fluid. You can grab a window with your one hand, so just look at one and then grab it, pinch, and then you can just look over once you've already grabbed one window, and then do it with the other hand, and then you can just move both of the windows, and then you can just push the menu button, and then still have those menus in your hand with the menu over there. Go on then, Lisa.
How accurate is the pinch? Because
Yeah,
one
if
of the
you
things
compare
that
to the
really
3.
pisses me off about the 3 is
Yeah.
it's really inaccurate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
and
like it either.
I mean, it's just unusable having the hand tracking.
my
You've
friend
got
I've
to
not
have
had
the
any trouble
controller.
with
Press 3, and I'm
pinch,
like-
to be fair. I've not ever
It's solid.
experienced what you've had, but yeah,
Some
it
people
is
have
solid.
like
Yeah,
sensory
you're,
issues,
you
and so pinching too much gets you irritated. So for me, like
you can do the direct touch too if you want
too
to.
much.
You've got that
It's
option. It's
sensory.
all
Yeah.
I don't like
Yeah.
that you can
It's not all the
literally
same.
with the Apple Vision Pro, you don't have controller. So say for instance somebody come next to you and you're trying to look at them, and it doesn't notice that you're not trying to click on over there, but you just trying to you're looking at something. So how do they know the difference between you just looking
well,
and
the
you actually
person that
selecting?
you see in your space, what they do is they kind of fog through your environment that you're in. So whatever you're experiencing, it'll kind of put them through it, and they'll take priority. So then they'll know that you're looking at you're looking at them. Then they'll see it. If you're not looking at them, there's a window in the way. It'll kind of glaze over with a coloured kind of thing. So that's how you get that. That's how the person from the outside knows. So it is pretty intuitive with all of that. You don't have to worry about any of that. But
Yeah, right on.
but yeah.
Okay.
But what else was there?
It's really responsive. I think that's probably the
yeah.
biggest thing about it, right? Everything is just the lowest latency possible. Like the pass through is really low latency, like 15 milliseconds compared to the Quest 3, which is about 3 times that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably a big difference. I would see.
The hand tracking is just responsive, right? There's a lot of prediction and a lot of faking and interpolation that goes on with Quest 3 hand tracking. It's likely the reason why, Lisa, you experience problems with accuracy is because they're trying to fake it so much and they're trying to work out where you might be, but that causes latency, right? But with the Apple Vision Pro, there's way less latency. Like you can see it straight away with the hand occlusion. So anything you put your hand over, you can still see your hand through. Now it's not perfect, but it is almost perfect. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen the occlusion Quest 3 demo with the guitar, where you can pick the guitar up and stuff. That was jank compared to what the Vision Pro is. And I mean, one of the things I guess about the Vision Pro is that there's just no such thing as lag on it. It feels like you're constantly in a fluid experience.
Just works. Yeah.
Again,
It's not like Quest. It's not like you fade to black and things lag like crazy while they load in and stuff like that. It feels like things are all just happening somewhere else, and you're just getting all of the output of it on screen. But I mean, that being said, I think. And I don't think they're going to do this, but I think in order for that to be even slightly viable as a device, it would need to be able to run Mac apps, not iPad apps. That's literally the only way that could be real. And the truth is,
they've been trying to blend
it has the power to do that.
But,
it has the
That's what the
capability
iPads
to do
need to
that.
be too. All iPads just not to be iPad OS anymore. Just needs to get rid of it. It's no good.
It's just
So
it's
you
too,
like Mac OS?
it's too
It's better than iPad OS. That's all I'll say.
Okay. Yeah, true.
it's too kind of single purpose, single use, right? If they stick to that route, I feel like the device is going to become much like the iPad, a glorified movie device, right? And there's risk of that being the case right now because there's very little to do on it, right? There's a dinosaur demo. Once you've
Which
done
is
that,
good to look
there's
at.
really not
I will
a whole
admit.
lot else to do.
One second.
Crazy.
You have a Mac. Bring up your Mac into Quest Vision, right? So that it has a whole huge screen. So
That's right.
There's an icon
But only
above the
one
screen.
screen
It knows your Mac's
it's better
there, and then you
virtual
can just
desktop.
pinch it, and then it'll just fade your screen to black, and then pop up the screen. It'll kind of.
I just wanted to mention.
So it's
it's only
really
one
smart for
screen.
that. Yes.
which is
Yeah,
kind of
it's only
silly.
one screen. Yeah,
Well, I
don't
mean,
like
so
that.
it shows that they're going there somewhere to some degree.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
maybe they
sure,
can
for
improve
sure.
on that. I mean, that would
For
definitely be a
sure.
huge area to improve on because, you've just spent
It-
upwards of $3,000 on your MacBook, upwards of $3,000 on your
Oh my
Vision
God.
Pro, and you're kind of
Yeah.
back where
Car
you
is
started
sold.
with just one screen. It's not quite spatial computing as much as it
Sold your
is
car. And
2D computing. Do you know what I mean? Certainly that's how it
Exactly.
feels. So it needs to be a
use a
MacBook, or it
car when
needs
you
to
got
have
VR.
multi-screen. You need to be able to
Yes.
feel like you're in Minority Report. But software-wise,
Great movie.
it could get there.
Smooth.
Propside, what's your hot take?
Except for the Thought Police.
What are we talking about?
Apple Vision Pro.
Waffles.
Apple Vision Pro.
Apple Vision Pro.
Don't get me
Apple
started.
Vision Pro.
I shouldn't even say anything. It's
Oh, no.
If
I'm
you,
sure
if
it's
you
fine.
go on, go on, get in there, give us a hot take. Go on, get your
No,
knuckles
honestly,
out.
I
Go
don't
on.
know enough about the technical aspects. I just know about my hatred, for
For Apple.
the
Battle
Apple.
Bird.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I share it. I've actually wondered, and I've most recently, right, because up until about a year ago, I was, Android pretty much all the way, but I decided to explore this reliability angle, right, because I wanted a more reliable phone for work and stuff. So I took a shot with the Apple ecosystem, and it hasn't been reliable. That's certainly one thing that I can say. It's been quite unreliable in comparison to my Android experience. And I've actually started to believe recently that there's a possibility that Apple could be a cult. Like literally like Scientology.
Give me a Hawaiian shirt.
Hear me
The
out.
same thing.
Hear me out. Okay?
I
right?
completely agree.
It's a cult.
You
I have-
move up
I'm
different
filled with
tiers.
it in
It's
my room.
fucking thousands of dollars every single time. You end up indoctrinated. You believe everything
yeah.
is great, but they're making your
Ah,
life
yeah.
hell.
And you get locked in.
Where is
You get
Shelley
locked in. You can't get
Miscavige?
out.
That's what I
I've
want to
been
know.
lo- I
Am I
got
right?
locked.
Where is she?
Shelley?
That's why I have to buy
Yeah.
everything. 'Cause I don't want to be locked in now.
But
I'm like, yo.
but look, I
I'm
mean,
over here too.
so if you want, here's something that's worth noting. If you own a MacBook and you'd like to build an app for your Apple Vision Pro, right? There's
I
a
use
few little
Swift.
things which are just typical of Apple when it comes to developers that I really detest, right? Number one, it has to be Apple Silicon. So if you happen to have an Intel-based MacBook out there and you'd like to build an app for Vision Pro, I'm afraid you're going to have to throw it in the bin and buy a new MacBook, even though you're already an Apple ecosystem customer, because they don't let you build apps for Vision Pro on anything but Apple Silicon, which is just a pain in the ass. There's a special adapter you can get. It's actually not required, right? But it adds a USB-C port. It's basically the debugging port or whatever for the device. Anybody want to hazard a guess at how much this connector
It's
costs?
got to be at least 50.
Discount price.
$300.
Who said
$300.
$1
What?
billion.
Well done, Static.
So
What
yeah,
would it look
I mean,
like?
I think
Bloody
it
hell.
goes without saying that Apple tend to really not like developers, right? And I think you kind of start to see the impact and the effect of that in the wild when you get the likes of, YouTube and Spotify and Netflix all publicly state we're not going to build for your new hardware. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's so
they
true,
they
but
obviously
it's
don't care about
building, for
developers.
sure.
I mean, the
100%.
first time I tried it, my gut reaction was kind of like the first time I tried Google Glass, where I was kind of like, this is really cool. I want to jump in and see what cool stuff I can build for this right away. And then immediately I was overcome by an overwhelming wave of anxiety about what that process was going to be like, having to build with Apple workflows. And the truth is, it is just painful. It doesn't matter what you use in a lot of ways when it comes to integrating with other things. Like if you want to build with Unity, you can't use Swift. It's only Objective-C, and they don't use Objective-C on Apple devices now for many years. It's been Swift for a long time. So you end up ending up in these archaic workflows where information is just scattered and all over the place, and it's
Swift
just
didn't
it's
take
so
over
much effort.
Objective-C?
I mean, for the most part, it did,
Oh.
but not in Unity.
Oh, okay.
Unity 2022.
I
Like,
wonder
latest
why they
Unity.
skipped that. They like.
It's
don't even
typical,
know about
and
it?
it's
They don't know
it's
better.
I mean, things are always going to be difficult, because even if you do want to build with Unity, it still has to be on Apple hardware. You still have to do that part on hardware, right? And then eventually, of course, a lot of this stuff is in the news at the minute. But Apple have been forced to open up their stores,
There
but
was a
they
time
haven't
where they
quite
were
fully
a
opened them
production
up.
company, like
It's
movie.
what's it called? Malicious compliance
Apple?
or whatever.
Malicious
Somewhat.
compliance, yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Where
it's
basically
He's okay.
apps still need to be notarized. They still need to go through
Yeah.
Apple servers. They still need to pass all of Apple's checks. Apple still takes 27% of all
KK
sales
has
across
joined the
all
space.
stores.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
not. It's
it's
not.
crazy. It's like
It's not a
why?
competitive environment at all. And I don't know. Let's see. I think it'd be really nice if the EU decided to make an example of Apple because they're
Oh, yeah, the
obviously
app
way
stores.
worse when it comes to
You
this
guys
kind
got
of
the
stuff.
app stores now. You got the new app stores coming out.
Well, this
Side
is it,
loading.
right? So you're going to have Epic
Yeah.
are going to bring out their own app store and others,
Yeah.
right?
There
But
you
of
go.
course,
That's gonna be cool.
of
I
course,
wanna see
that's
what
not
that
really
looks
going to
like, yeah.
work for Epic because now they have to not only build and maintain the cost and overhead of an app store.
Oh, they already do that.
They save 3% by using
Oh,
their
easy.
app store rather than Apple's, right? Because Apple still takes 27
Ah,
of that 30% store tax. So even if they're
Wow.
selling Fortnite or selling Fortnite in-app purchases through their own Epic branded store, they're still paying 27 of 30% of that back to Apple. And that's
yeah,
just
that's
like
evil. That's
how
evil.
does that
Yeah.
how does that make any kind of sense?
It doesn't, especially
know?
if it's side-loaded own app store. Like, I mean, that's
Exactly.
something that
You know-
built.
So
You
it's
gotta-
cost
Just gonna take
prohibitive.
their money.
To build and maintain an
Oh
app
my
store like
gosh.
that, there is no margin there for you to actually be able to fund something like that. And actually, it's even worse in terms of the malicious compliance. But they've made it possible for anybody to set up and install apps from basically any web page, right? Which on the face of it might sound very open, but these apps still have to be notarized through their servers and they still take 27% of sales up front and in the apps themselves. So, don't let that part, elude you. But the key here is that they've made it so that it's completely anybody could just host their own app on their own website. They wouldn't have any need to go to a side-loaded store because the side-loaded store would need to be side-loaded and then they could get their app on it. You know what I mean? Rather than just direct people to their own website where they could click a download button from there. So it's I would like to see a much more open ecosystem.
Viruses and all that. They're very
I
worried
mean,
about.
they're worried about a lot of
that stuff.
nonsense, but that's what a lot of it is
Privacy.
unfortunately
Yeah,
just nonsense.
Nonsense.
And
Phishing.
it's not only related to stores, right? Apple has had a very strict approach when it comes to browsers. I'm speaking from a lot of the experiences I've had over the last year of using my iPhone 14 Pro Max, bought just before the 15 came
that's
out.
what I had.
Yep,
Didn't have
before the
support for spatial images. You know what I mean? Perfect. Thank you,
Right
Apple.
before
Whoosh.
that. Great. I know,
Whoosh.
right? Yeah, me
Whoosh.
too.
But yeah, what's happened on Apple is that they've decided there's only going to be one type of browser on any of our devices. So if you want to launch Firefox or Chrome or any other type of browser on your Apple-based device, it's actually just Safari with a flippin' mustache. Because Apple prohibit any browser engines on their devices that aren't based on the Safari plugin, right?
What
So
browser do you use?
this
on
is
your
another
Android
thing.
phone?
You
What
can use
browser do
Chrome,
you
you can use
use on your
Firefox,
Android
you
phone?
can use
And
Vivaldi,
it's
you
the
can use
proper
Brave.
browser.
Any
on
open
there.
source Chromium-based browser.
Which
You can
one?
anything you want.
I
They're
use
not
Chrome.
restricted.
I like to be
There
able
we
to use
go.
Chrome. A
So
lot
it's
of
the
people
same thing
use
as using
Chrome.
Safari.
Not really, because I
No,
prefer to
not
use
true.
Chrome
I know.
on my Apple
wanna
device
just turn your mic
as
down a bit
well,
then,
right?
Izzy.
Because I don't actually think Safari is as good of a browser as Chrome. I find a lot of
It's
problems,
not. It's
simple
definitely not.
simple problems with Safari, like it won't go into sort of focused or immersive mode when you're watching videos. The screen will dim halfway through a video. You're just trying to flick through on the internet, that kind of thing. And now on the Apple Vision Pro, That applies to things like YouTube and stuff like that, right? So you can't even sit there and watch something on a page unless it's full screened, and then things will just start to dim and go out of focus, stuff like that. Plus, it has this weird scroll behavior where everything seems to want to scroll horizontally as well as vertically, and it's like, why do you want to do that? These are mobile sites, right? They're all just vertically stacked. There's no need to pull me over to the left and show me a huge big amount of empty space unnecessarily on that side. Support for things like, just being able to play back audio files. Because I use Chrome on my iPhone, I'm doomed to not be able to download and play back an MP3 file from Discord, for instance. I went through this the other day. I spent 15 minutes trying to find a way to do it without having to reset my default browser to Safari just to play an MP3 file, right? This is 2024 as far as I know. I feel like playing an MP3 file is like 2001 on phones, right? Even some of those early Nokias you could put MP3s onto and play them. But yeah, so long story short, I would love to see a much more open ecosystem than what Apple has in store for us. And I think that kind of openness doesn't hurt things like they claim that it does. And yeah, people should be allowed, if they want, with enough warning and guard or whatever, they should be allowed to just turn all that off and use the hardware the way they want to use it, right?
Windows users are doing well. Android users are doing well. I don't see why there's a big objection to it. Why there needs to be any difference there.
It's true.
They're just scared. They're just scared.
It's true.
They hate to
The
lose
truth
control.
is,
You've got it. Yep.
malware and tracking apps and all of this kind of stuff, they're on Apple's App Store, they're on Google's App Store, they're on the Windows Store, they're everywhere, right? Those are where you get privacy and security issues come, and they happen on Apple devices just as much as they happen anywhere else, because we accidentally grant permissions to an app. Later the app gets acquired and commandeered and injected with malware. We've already granted permissions, therefore your location data will be harvested and sold to a data broker and sold to another data broker and sold to another data broker and blah 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 blah.
Everything.
Often to infinity, right?
And that Windows are all shit.
What's that?
I think someone said that they think what you just said is subjective, and I would like to hear an explanation. I'm curious.
Yeah. So basically, at my house, I have. So my mom is an accountant, so I run I'm the house IT guy here because she doesn't, so she doesn't have to pay for somebody. So there's lots of Windows machines in this house, and I have about like 8 of my own. And I got a bunch of Macs and I got a bunch of iPhones. I got some Android tablets. I got Macs. I got iPads. I got Android phones, Galaxies, everything. So basically, lots of devices. And I've had a lot less viruses, like problems with Macs and iPhones. When someone comes to me with a problem, I'm like, oh, I'm glad I'm not have to. It's just an iPhone issue or an iPad issue. You're asking me Mac. As soon as Windows, I have to pull my hair out. So, and I could send you a bunch of screenshots that happened tonight. I just bought a PC with an RTX GeForce 460. This brand new Acer computer, and it literally, I could show you how many errors that just don't make any sense on Windows. So. I'll send it to someone. And
those 20 Windows
that make like I'm like really I was literally like sweating.
Been the target of things for quite a while.
Yeah. It's subjective.
But I think
it's sometimes it can be like that, but sometimes it can't.
It's fair to say a big part of that is likely due to the fact that Apple kind of lent on the whole Unix-based operating system to build Mac OS off of in the first place. So I would definitely think that Windows is kind of an outlier there in terms of how susceptible it can be. But I mean, maybe it's better as well now with Windows 10 and 11. It feels like it happens less often. I don't feel like you have to
go back to
reinstall.
I'm trying to get 11 off this thing.
Sure. But I feel like you don't have to reinstall Windows as much as you did back in the days of Windows 7 and below.
I rarely
that was crazy.
But
exactly.
I think it also
but even still.
User friendliness, right? User friendliness versus like Mac user friendliness, and then you have PC where it does require you to know like a few things if you want to keep everything clean.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But that's a different argument in my opinion.
A different skill level to both.
But
both
sometimes user friendliness can stifle how fast you do things, right? So many times now on Windows 10 and 11, there's a new way that they've made things to be done. They've got a new settings panel. They've got a new audio panel. But every time, everything always works better and guaranteed every single time. If I do it through the old Windows XP, Windows 98 control panel, or anything like that, and it's quicker as well every single time. Every single time. So I don't know. It just sometimes user
I was
friendliness.
talking about
Yeah, sorry.
like
Go
Apple
on.
products and their user friendliness versus.
Oh, sorry,
Windows,
my
where-
bad. I thought we were still on about My bad. Sorry.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
Windows
yeah.
10 is better than 11.
Well, even still,
I'm
the
not,
same,
I
same,
would
same
actually
stuff.
veto this.
Hmm.
I think, at least for me, because there are just so less options on Apple products that
Yeah.
you're wasting so much time because you're facing a problem, something is not working, you want to change it, or something behaves not like so it's totally counter effective for your work. You want to change it, you waste a lot of time only to come to the conclusion it's not possible. There's no way to improve this. And on Windows, I mean, there's always a tool or a batch script or whatever what can improve your workflow. And I
Yeah,
don't know
it's
about the
weird.
viruses. I don't know how people still get
It is weird.
viruses on Windows machines. I'm downloading so much crap because I want to test everything that's shiny and new, and I don't look if something malicious is in there. So
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, a
know
lot of
how
the
people
time.
still manage to get viruses.
It's
Yeah.
not just
Well,
viruses. It's
I
not
know that
viruses,
a
like
lot
the
of the time people
updates
get
don't work, and
viruses
then
at work. It's notorious. People just open emails and click on anything when it's at
But
work.
that's
It's so many times they just think,
that's
"Oh, this is
ignorance,
legit.
man.
It's at work. It's fine," and they open it
Yeah.
before they've even checked it.
Yeah.
But I do think as well. Do you not think that perhaps the reason why Windows has such a bad rap for like viruses and malware and stuff is simply because it's the dominant OS. Anybody who's going to
Mhm.
release
Big part
stuff
of it.
like that, they're going to try
Yep.
and hit
It's
the
a target.
largest demographic.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep. Absolutely.
they won't waste their
Um,
time on the less popular operating
I
systems. So
literally just tried reinstalling Windows today, and I got a boot loop, blue screen of death boot loop. I have no idea. I think it's
Oh, no.
Acer's problem, so I'm
Oh,
just
darn.
sending this shit back. But sorry,
Yeah.
I mean, off.
Don't waste your time for their
Shit
It's
problems.
probably a good shout. Yeah.
yeah. But
but yeah,
Yeah,
worth
yeah.
it.
Oh,
I
sorry, folks.
actually just learned that apparently, I don't know how true the statistic is, but apparently over 6,000 new computer viruses are released every month.
Oh yeah.
6,000. Yeah, they don't work probably.
Which
Yeah.
is quite concerning to say the
They're all
least.
broken. Most of them
Yes.
just pop up with a little message that says, "Hi, I was just too poor to, or I can't afford to fund this. Can you just delete some of your files?"
Yeah,
And then-
If I
Can
could
you
just
send
make
me
a
your bank
comment.
details, please? This is a virus, but
Yeah.
it's just a
Yeah.
message.
But you know what's the
Virus
most
alert.
interesting part?
Scan this QR
That
code. What's that?
but with all those viruses that are still getting released, most of them are just made with some like a toolkit. You just click your virus you want together. So those are the basic viruses, and normally they're getting all catched. But nowadays we have the first AI-driven viruses. And they don't
no.
care which
Oh, yeah.
operating system you have. They just do whatever they want, and they
Oh, boy.
adopt.
Oh no. Oh boy, we didn't think about that, did we? We just went
Bow.
straight into
Oh, we're done.
Eline's mind blown. This is like existential dread
Viruses.
moment now.
it. Everybody
I just wanted to
starts
make a
exploding.
There's
comment.
no stopping AI viruses. It's oh wait, battery heads. Hang on.
I mean, that's crazy if you think
I
about
mean,
it.
the good
right?
thing
Can you
is they
imagine?
can't
Yeah.
run on toasters because they need too much resources.
That's right.
It's,
Everybody.
it's mostly like a
Explodes.
Bitcoin miner, so you need a good PC that the virus
know-
can actually run.
Yes, yes.
We can
If
use
your
all the
CPU's
pieces.
melting, you have AI virus. Yeah,
Yes.
I get it.
That's crazy. That is honestly crazy. I'm sure there'll be some interesting experiments we'll see from some security researchers
So wait, how come when you switch, when you replace hardware parts, you have to reactivate
Whoa.
Windows, and if you don't have the product key, then you have to go through like literally hours of bullshit.
Oh, that's because you have
Have
that
you ever
number.
tried replacing a hardware part in a
Static
Mac, my
Threat
friend?
has joined the space.
You can't.
Y-
That
You
was a good
can,
que-
because by
that was
law
a trick
you're
question.
required to, but they will limit your hardware's
Well, yeah, I mean, there's
capability
only like
whenever they
like RAM
consider
or
other
something.
things to be
No,
not
everything's
safe
pretty
or
down.
whatever.
Well, I think
Same with your
they
phone.
solder everything
They
together,
turn
right?
off
In
things.
one
If you
block.
try to replace the screen, they
Yeah,
turn off the
exactly.
fingerprint sensor.
Everything you're
They
saying
literally
right now,
punish
Shane.
you for using third
So true.
parties to fix your device because they want to.
Oh,
I mean, the only thing I can determine is that their main primary agenda is to try to administer as much possible control over their ecosystem uh, as they can kind of muster, as they can kind of get away
My
with.
my MacBook from
And that's
2014 works better than my new 15K PC that I just bought. Boom. I buy both. I have both, but I'm just saying I have to be on both sides. I gotta take one for the other team, right? No one's on the other team, so I'll be there.
I mean,
I
yeah.
like both. I just
Could I
bought a
possibly make a
$15
comment on
PC,
this?
so obviously I like PCs, right? I'm just saying.
You
My
know,
15,
Just do it.
my
Do it static.
I honestly
10-year-old
think
Mac
that
works
Dad,
better.
say it's
Kid,
static. Just,
in
just go
edgewise.
for it. Just go for
go
it.
for it.
Come to my house and fix my
So
PC static, please.
yeah. So around 20 years ago, I was using
He's
iMacs,
close to me using
and my
Gambit.
teacher was honestly like, "Oh, these are the most reliable." He's like, "Screw your PC," and I was just like, "Oh, okay." So I'm doing my work, and it crashes. And there's an unhappy face, a little computer just frowning at me, and I'm just looking at him, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, man," and I'm just like, "What the hell you said?" So he's like, "You got to redo it." So I go to the next iMac. I'm working away. I'm working away. It crashed again. An hour in, it crashed again. He comes up to me, he's
What are you
scratching his
doing
head,
on
and I'm
it?
just like, "Dude." He's like, "You have to do it. You actually have to complete the work." So I'm on the third iMac. It crashed again, and I'm just like, "I'm going home." I went home, did it on my PC. I sent it to their online network, and it was just like, "Oh my God, like all those commercials were lying."
Wow, that's
You know,
what program was
Power,
this?
power
What
banging my head
control
up the
program was it?
desk.
days.
What
It's back
program
when
was it?
Apple
The old
were
iMacs.
building their
The
own
old.
No, but
silicon
what program was it
I
that
I
you were
had something
using?
before
similar.
Intel.
Like, what was the project?
I
Was it like
I was
VRs
working
or something?
3 years on a Power Mac that was still pre iMac area, and yeah, it was like I think every year they rolled out the new major version update, and every year our Power Macs completely broke, and we couldn't work for a half week because some specialist had to extra come to our small village to fix the Power Macs in the company because it always got stuck on the spinning windmill after the update.
Bob Works has joined the
Oh,
space.
jeez.
Those I'm a Mac, I'm a PC commercials were lying. I'm telling you.
I had a Power
Justin
PC
Long.
as well. Remember, Jesus.
Mac Pros.
Mac Pros, yeah, exactly.
Hang on,
They've
guys.
gone the
My
other direction
headset's
a little
about
bit.
to die, and my headset doesn't want to charge for some reason, so I'm
Oh
going to
no.
restart, and I might have to
YouTube.
jump in on 2D. Back in a moment. Sorry, peeps. It's weird.
That's all right.
Godspeed.
It happens.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think when it comes to certain things, Macs are better, right? And I'll give you a couple of examples of that to balance the argument, right? If you're doing some sort of a live music event and you're using some sort of music software, Ableton, anything like that, MacBook all the way, right? Because it will very likely not crash. That's at least what you would get from a modern MacBook or MacBook Pro is that they're reliable for those particular use cases. So in some professional workflows, image editing, typical Photoshop, I don't know if any other typical
Yeah, Adobe
image
programs.
editing, yeah, anything at all really that way, video editing, that sort of stuff. Macs are great for that sort of stuff.
And you get GarageBand for free.
Who's smoking a Is that Giuseppe? He's smoking a bong
Yep,
down
that was
under the
me.
table?
That was
That's
me.
just a fish tank.
Bubble, bubble, bubble,
Oh,
bubble.
nice.
Bubble, bubble,
Uh,
bubble, bubble.
But so, I mean, those are some great
Bob
examples. But
Works has
Aline's
joined the
point is
space.
valid. Like, there's definitely some
The
professional
secret
workflows where
society
all
of
of a sudden,
socks has joined the
unless
space.
unless it's
And we're
supported
back.
out of the box by Apple as a workflow, then you're probably going to come up against barriers, and there's probably going to be friction. And if it is something that Apple supports, then it's probably going to be great, I guess. Right? That's probably the rule of thumb. You should look into what you want to use it for, and if it's possible, and if it's not, Aline, what are you doing to yourself?
I have to
Just doing
scratch
the
my back.
dance.
Yeah, scratch my back and I'll scratch yours.
There's a meme,
But,
isn't there, where
yeah.
the person standing behind them with their hand on their shoulder, and it's yeah. Great.
Like,
The omniscient Daddy Deddy
you
has
know, one
joined
thing
the
I
space.
do really enjoy is using Linux as an operating system, right?
yeah.
I
Mint.
particularly enjoy using the
mint.
terminal. And that's something then that I find instantly sort of at home with on a Mac, is that the terminal is pretty much the same, right? You're going to be using a lot of the same commands. It's very similar. In fact,
Do you find
most
the mouth
operating
smoothing
systems.
is weird in Linux? Do you find the mouth smoothing is weird in Linux? I've never gotten it to
Mouth-
where I like it.
Like
Mouth
the
smoothing,
touchpad,
like, it just feels
like the magic pad.
like no, just like the way the cursor moves in Linux. Like I guess I'm talking about Mint Linux, but
Oh, I'm not sure. I mean, I've had different experiences with it. It depends. Often the resolution of the screen is affected
it's
how
so
smooth
fast.
the mouse
Like Mint
feels
Linux
sometimes.
is just like lightning.
You get that
Yeah.
same benefit with Linux, right? How often do you have somebody bring in a Linux computer and ask for it to be fixed? Not
Yeah,
that
they
not
just
that
were.
often,
I don't
right?
really know what
It
And
should be
it's-
more
it's-
often than it is, though.
Yeah,
But they
and
know how to
it's
fix them
partially
now because they're more
because,
technical.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
partially because they don't break that often. It's partially because not many people use it, and
Low
more so in
resources.
this
The
day
RAM
and
is
age.
like it's like under a gig, like for
Yeah.
its operating system of RAM. That's insane.
That's true.
Arch
Awesome.
Linux, I'm a fan of that on the Steam Deck. I got to
Oh,
be
that's
honest.
hacking.
It's
That's hackers.
definite. Huh?
Arch
You
Linux.
hacker? You hacker? You hacksaw?
What?
Elite?
You
Leet-
hack,
leet-
you
leet?
hack, bro.
I'm a
Hacksaw
hacker
elites?
because I've got Arch Linux on my Steam Deck, which came on there natively. Yep. Okay. I'm a
Yeah.
hacker.
Yeah. You're using your Steam Deck
You
to
know,
hack into NVIDIA
Hacker
From
swag.
hotel.
I just flashed my Steam Deck at a hacker fucking
yeah, I
conference.
mean,
I'm like, yeah, whoa, dude.
Well, it's a lot cooler
Yeah.
than Ubuntu. So
A lot of Linux computers getting worked on every day, but it's your phone.
it's a lot of cooler than Ubuntu.
It's just like
exactly.
it's
Yes,
just like
exactly.
Windows. Arch Linux is just like
Android,
Windows.
iOS,
The one
Mac OS,
Yeah.
Linux,
It's just like Windows?
all of them
What?
are
The
all
way it runs, yeah,
Linux-based
all-
operating
basically.
systems. So
Oh.
they all follow
Mm.
some fairly
Especially
similar
with
fundamental rules, which means
Yeah.
that they're all.
I like Mint
that,
because
that
of the
means you can
minimalist of
you
it.
can definitely be at home.
Like how just
I mean, I like anything that's Debian based, right?
Mint
I like Ubuntu specifically, and I think
yeah,
Mint
Debian,
is a
yeah,
is a,
Debian.
a derivative of Ubuntu, right? Isn't it interesting
it is.
how
It is, it
different people
basically is.
say
Yeah.
different words differently?
I say Ubuntu.
I just like
Oh, yeah.
Ubuntu.
Isn't it? You almost never say them, right? You just read them on the
no
internet
one
a
says it
billion
right.
times,
Ubuntu,
but never actually
Ubuntu,
speak them in
Ubuntu,
public.
Ubuntu,
You just whisper it to yourself.
Ubuntu,
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
Well, Zephy, we're
Ubuntu.
Canadian. We say pasta.
Pasta. Yeah, we do
Pasta.
say pasta. Not pasta. Pasta.
British and
what about
British say
pasty?
pasta.
Pasty.
well, yeah, and Canada's part of the Commonwealth,
something else.
so we
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
we got a
derive
lot
We're
of
weird.
British
people.
terminology
We're weird.
and idioms.
Yes, sir.
and Stuff.
Food waffle time. Yeah.
Waffles.
Yeah, food fact.
Waffle waffles.
Well, we love tea over here in Canada. We love tea.
A waffle
And coffee,
waffle,
though.
yes. Okay,
Tea
what's
waffle.
your favorite waffle?
Yes, I can do.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well,
Waffle
all of
waffle.
North
No,
America
we don't need
shares
that.
the
We don't
same
need
coffee
that.
and
You
tea
don't need that.
culture as the UK, not just Canada.
Oh,
Pretty
is that
much
right?
all of
I know,
North
I know.
America.
But we drink a lot of tea here.
5113
Though.
has joined the
We
space.
need a lot of tea drinkers here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's the same thing, but it's the same.
Well, in the States, all that tea went into the harbor in Boston.
There you
Ah.
go. The history says it's all in the harbor.
Pasta.
It's gone. But
So now you've
it's
got
gone.
those forever tea chemicals going through our bloodstreams for years to come, made it around 90%
just
of the
drink
planet.
water.
But don't worry, they've come up with a new strategy. They're able to eradicate those chemicals. Oh shit!
Oh no.
Crashing.
Oh no!
Oh.
Amazing timing.
Okay,
Oh,
right,
shit,
quickly,
no, no.
I'll just give you my hot takes on the Apple Vision Pro. Quickly, right.
I thought he was
Bad
pointing at
side.
something.
When I was using it, right, I would go down towards the floor. I would go towards objects, and then it would just fade away the stuff that I'd want to get closer to. Hated that. Stop doing that.
Oh, what
Um,
happened to the charger? You said your charger didn't work, or
which?
something.
Oh no, it fixed it now. Just reset the headset.
Hmm.
Yay.
It just wasn't.
What else is
Nobody's
it? The
gonna comment that
pass-through
Shane was just
isn't as
taken
good
out
as
by big
everybody's
teeth.
saying.
My charger working?
Pass-through is about 30% better
Oh, yeah,
only
it is.
than the
Yeah.
Quest 3, from my opinion.
What
That's fair.
was that? Yeah, the
The-
placement of the charging port, right?
What's that? Sorry.
The placement of the charging port is different on the
On
headset?
which? Sorry.
The 2 and 3 Quest.
Yeah, the 3 definitely.
Yeah, the one that on the
Yeah.
2 it's kind of below the strap, and then on the 3 it's on the strap.
Yeah, so on the left
I
arm.
prefer it on the 2.
Mm-hmm.
But Bob, have you found
I had
a
to get a
use
more
case
discreet
for a
cable.
Vision Pro?
Oh. What kind of cable?
Jesus.
What kind of cable?
No, I can't.
In you.
Maybe looking at
In you?
a highly detailed 3D model in augmented reality with other users of Apple Visions, potentially, maybe doctors. I can definitely see it used for something like that. The fidelity
What about FaceTime
of the
and
screens.
stuff? Did it work okay? The FaceTime thing?
The
like
Persona
calling
stuff,
people?
right? That's my other biggest happy thing that I got to
don't think it
experience.
would-
I had
it
such
did, it was good. Oh wow.
so amazing. Oh, I would. I
Wicked.
just.
No,
It was.
wasn't-
Yeah.
yeah,
Such a great bit of tech there.
Really?
And it's
Oh,
only
I thought
just
it'd be a
begun.
little gimmicky,
I have
but
a
that's
question
awesome,
to
man.
ask
No, it's
Bob
good.
about that Persona
Oh no,
feature.
Shane has joined the
Didn't
space.
your
Yeah.
digital representation of your face
Dun, dun, dun.
border on the uncanny valley in your
Yeah,
video?
Yeah,
that's what I was.
it does
that's
for
part of my
sure.
question.
You get over it. I think they've kind of got like a bog standardish few sets of meshes, and they just slap your skin on it,
Yeah.
somewhat. And the face as well.
your
What was
skin on it.
interesting was the face is a real-time
I knew she
video.
was gonna hang
So
on that
if
one.
you block your face, then it kind of
I
fogs
may see
away.
that in real life.
So it's just a video mapped onto the mesh, which was cool. Which was cool to
Okay.
see.
It'll get better.
Just the mouth, though, from what I saw.
It'll
But
get
there you
better.
And
go.
the tongue.
And the tongue.
the backs
yeah.
of
The
the
tongue doesn't actually
ears.
come out. If you turn your head sideways and look at your persona, and then kind of poke your tongue out, it doesn't do anything.
It's
What
painful.
about your
Okay.
teeth? It has to invent them, right? Like,
It just
No,
there's
No,
two
it gets you to
cameras
take a
either
big
side of your
teethy
nose.
smile
I
when
like
it's
to.
scanning your face.
oh,
that's
so it uses
right.
your actual mouth. Oh,
It's your
Yeah,
teeth.
if you watch Marquise Brownlee's
I gotcha.
unboxing video and testing video, you'll see that whole process being done.
I updated that playlist, Faye. I saw your message. I think that
Thank
one's still
you.
on glitch, right?
No,
Nope.
nope. Thank you very much.
Bob was here keeping us afloat while you were gone, Shane.
Yep.
That's great.
Mhm. He was definitely floating.
My
And
battery
jumping.
died.
Oh yeah.
Not as much
that's
as you.
right, it's in a different one.
But yeah,
Floating
another,
ninja.
another hot quick take. Not worth it, obviously, for now. Just needs more software, and then the hardware's there.
Nice.
I'm happy that this is what technology's got now. That other companies can potentially do this too, without the restrictions of what Apple can give you. So that's what I'm hopeful for. That's my
Showing you
big
what's to come. What's to come.
Yeah, I'm just like, yes, okay. Oh my god, yes, fucking yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Bring it down to
definitely
$30,000. Just take
impressed
it down
me
a little
for sure.
3K and we'll be good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
know,
it's just
Couple
the cost of
pounds.
screens just need to be reduced. Then once that's done, then oh my god, everybody's gonna
Yeah.
love it. It's gonna be the holy
Nice.
grail moment. Then is cheap, affordable
Mm.
screens, cheap headsets.
But do you think
the way to
Oculus is
go.
gonna, or not, Meta is gonna do that, like something like is gonna be really competitive in this exact, like,
Oh, they already are being
walking
competitive.
around in the real
We
world?
could
They
see
could
this
Meta
year,
Quest
right?
3, so then the 4
You've
is
got the
gonna
Quest
be
Lite
the
potentially coming
Quest-
out this
Sorry,
year.
the Vision Pro almost. That's awesome.
Yeah, and
So
then
then
next
just
year the
wait for
Meta Quest
4.
Pro 2 should be released.
There we go.
Yeah,
the light
that's a
order. Yeah.
partnership with LG,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
There
That's a
Yep,
cool little
yep.
thing. LG
So
brought
maybe I
out
shouldn't
one
buy
of the
Quest
first
3.
3D phones. They had the LG
Interesting.
Optimus with HTC as well. They brought out a different phone at the same time. They were
Well, that's
both
cool.
one of the first Android 3D 3D phones.
Oh yeah, I
to
remember
bring
that.
it to
Yeah, I
like
do
mass
But you
remember
have
market.
to
It was impressive.
I think
you have to keep in mind when they're doing those corporations, it's mostly not that good. I mean, we saw it with the Rift S, where
Yeah.
they partnered with Lenovo, and everyone was really hoping
Yes.
for a really CV1 successor, and then you just got a Rift S, and nobody cares about it
I think
because it
LG might
wasn't just
surprise
that
us.
much better.
Yeah. No, I get you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Bob,
risky.
I got a
It's
question.
risky, I think, partnering with people on that. Go ahead, Simon.
I was just going to say, for you and Shane, with the Apple Vision Pro, obviously, one of the main uses for it is this productivity element. I was just going to ask, do either of you use, anything like immersed or virtual desktop in your day-to-day kind of work? Are you the kind of people that would sit there with virtual monitors and working in there? And if not, is the Apple Vision Pro going to change that? Or
I mean, I would love to, just to jump in
Yeah.
there first. I would love to
Yeah, go in
be
there.
able
comfortability
to,
needs to be there.
but the problem is that software-wise, certainly right now, the device is nowhere near being usable for productivity at
Yeah,
all.
exactly.
Honestly, like
How's the comfort though?
you
How's the
need to
comfort?
use a MacBook Pro in order to use it as a computer. Like you have the MacBook
Okay.
Pro on your lap and you're using your MacBook Pro's keyboard
Uh-huh.
and Magic Touchpad. That's the only way you can use a device. You cannot connect a
So-
mouse or a keyboard directly to the Vision Pro. Maybe the keyboard,
least not
not
yet.
a mouse.
At least
Not
So
yet.
how does that compare
Yeah.
with the, with say, if you're using the Quest 3, and you're using something like Immersed or something? I've been in Immersed and I see dozens of people that seem to spend hours in there. They do their whole day worth of, I don't know what they're doing in there, trading or, coding or whatever. And they're
Yes.
quite happily tapping away on their Quest 3s, I imagine, at the minute.
Yes.
But the Vision Pro's not, obviously you don't have that. You can't join a room sort of with an Apple Pro, yeah, I guess. But I just wondered if it was something that you would you
Workspaces.
do already, or is it, like you say, just a technical issue that's holding you back?
I think it's something that I want to do, but I'm just not sure that I'm there yet. And I guess, uh, you know, I spend a lot of time working, a lot of
Mm,
time, and it means that the amount of strain that could be introduced by spending all of that time inside of the current generation of VR, everything from comfort, weight, eye
yeah.
fatigue, lack of, I definitely want to be able to do that. As I sit my workstation, I've got a 4K monitor here in front of me. I would love to just get rid of that and replace it with 2 or 3 virtual alternatives that are seamless,
Yeah.
that I could just stand up, grab, bring with me into another room, set them down, and continue to
Mhm.
work. With some sort. Yeah. I mean, what's interesting is, have you ever connected a mouse to a Quest?
Yes.
What
I've
happened?
connected a keyboard.
3D
worked.
mouse kind of thing.
It
Kind
works.
of like a
You get a 3D
s-
mouse kind of thing. You
spherical
get a
mouse.
mouse that
Yeah.
kind of floats around in
Projects
front of
onto
you.
spheres. Yeah.
Mm,
There's almost no reason for that to work, but it's a really nice example of how, something at least has been considered there. And I think the
mhm.
problem with the Vision Pro is that, yeah, it's got the certification and they can use it in a hospital setting and all of that kind of stuff, but it doesn't work with organization managed work accounts on Macs, for instance. So you can't use it there. It only supports one screen at a time. The latency on that solution isn't great. There's a bunch of new cool things that Apple has done to innovate and push the bar out, especially when it comes
Yeah.
to interaction. Like, I'll be honest, I was pretty amazed when I was just sort of darting my eyes around. A typical, eye saccade is a fraction of a second, only a few milliseconds really, and I was able to go dit, 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 and honestly, I feel like that was faster than having to move my mouse around, especially if I was having to move it from one screen to another.
Right.
That was definitely the case. But we're not there yet in terms of software and stuff. Like, even on the Vision Pro, there's the little compatible apps section, which is basically the iPad store. And you go in there and you install stuff, you put Discord on it and everything. And it's like, the UI needs to be built for these kinds of inputs. Otherwise, you can't click on things properly and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I would
That's rough
love
then.
to be able to have a productivity work. I would lean into it. I'd make it my daily driver if it were possible. But right now,
Okay.
even with $3,500 in a Vision Pro, software
Have you ever
wise,
cooked?
it can't
Did you
do
cook
it
with
yet.
it? Did you make some food with it on?
I haven't cooked with it.
Put
I
timers
haven't cooked with it
everywhere.
yet.
Oh,
Order
timer
some
here,
DoorDash.
timer there, timer there. You know, you set 3 timers. It's amazing, right? Oh,
I've been
and
told
you put
the
them over
stream is about
each
to
pot.
end,
Each pot
so
gets its own timer.
let's pretend that Shoseki is up
Oh,
where
God.
Chatty is there, and we'll all wave to Chatty. Everybody wave to Chatty. Hey, Chatty.
Hi,
Hello.
Chatty.
Hey, Chappy.
Chatty,
Oh, Suzeki
Chatty's
in a different
Hello.
avatar. and a
Chatty's
change of
username
name.
doesn't check out, guys. I'm just going to put that out there. But we love him all the same. Right, Chatty?
I'm hearing Chappy. Chappy want to live.
Yeah.
You wanna live?
It doesn't work out.
Nice.
I'll just
Uh,
jump in next.